They won't want to let him go. They can't let him go. He's only at 18 seconds. 4 kilometres to go. Alarm bells should be ringing, and other riders from other teams surely, Sean, will see this as a danger and go on after him.
Well, I think for the moment, Sky, they still have got Ryder on the front here, and if he can continue on making this pace, they will just play the waiting game, all the other favourites. But the moment he starts, to peel off the front, well, then I think we will see some of the other favourites going in the attack and trying to make it across the Scarponi.
Curtains for Teramai. He's gone. Good riding by Nicolas Roche, still up here towards the front. Louis Wester as well. Don't confuse the Vacon Soleil kit with that of Saxo. And Scarponi is going to have to dig deep. He's got an initial gap, but it's not growing out anymore. Gets pretty steep here, and twisting and turning. Dear, oh dear. Zalowski out the back door once again. Igor Silin of Astana at the back. That's Montfort being dropped as well. Maxime Montfort didn't start the best in the best shape after he crashed in the prologue. I think the gap has gone out a little bit again, Sean, but they've got it under control. That's the main thing.
Well, yes. The moment you have a teammate, as Richie Porte has got here, to continue on setting a good pace, well then, Scarponi is not going to pull out a big advantage. But as I said, once he pulls over, well then we will see, some action from the other big favourites. And we should be expecting somebody to go on the attack, because we're just over the 3 kilometres to go. It's the time, if anybody is feeling good, now is from now on is the moment to start doing it.
You've got to go. If you want to put Talansky under pressure, if you want to put Porte under pressure, or any of the other favourites, surely they're not going to just sit here and wait for each other. Maybe another 800 metres, maybe another kilometre. AG2R still got men hanging in here, look. This is Romain Bardet. Great ride by Romain Bardet. Scarponi digging deep, but Talansky, the race leader, has decided, I'm going to put it in a bigger gear and make Richie Porte suffer here. Lopez, well, he's done his bit. He can't do anything more now. And Talansky's gone off after Scarponi. He sees that the time is right. Scarponi's just got to go straight out the back door. Talansky and Porte, these are the two men, and the man chasing is Quintana. Quintana may want to go for the stage victory here, Sean, but with two men up ahead of him in the GC here, he's not liable to make much back in terms of overall.
No, although if he does go in the attack, 2 kilometres from the finish and really, powers it on to the finish, he could take a lot of that time back. But, the time he lost yesterday over 2 minutes, it's going to be very difficult. So maybe he's just making the calculation, play the waiting game and go for a stage victory.
Grifko in trouble. Second overnight. Andre Grifko at only 3 seconds is losing more than 3 seconds now. 3 seconds a pedal stroke is more likely if he blows up. He's just got to dig in and stay there. Now we're going to see a little bit of cat and mouse as TJ van Garderen. Simon Spilak comes up to join this group. Spilak in the middle in the red and white of Katusha. Jean-Christophe Perrault, it looks like, from AG2R. And this may allow Grifko to just cling on a little bit, Sean.
Well, he might cling on and possibly make contact again to just the rear end of the group of big favourites. But I think the moment there's another attack, he's going to be blown a bit further out the rear door.
Izagari is the man with him. Nicolas Roche decides he's going to have a go here, and instantly followed by Talansky. So two big names in the GC struggling to hang on. Second place man Andre Grifko started the day 3 seconds down, and Izagari fifth at 5 seconds. There they are. As soon as he up the pace again, though, that gap's going to go out. Talansky looks incredibly brilliant. I was just about to say look comfortable. So comfortable he can take the attack to everybody. That's what a race leader should do, Sean, is attack.
Well, I think Talansky feels that he has to, really test the other big favourites, because the time trial on cold days, maybe with Van Garden, possibly
Porte,
the better time trial is Porte also. So he's really putting in attacks here just to test the other ones and see can he pull another bit of time out of the bigger favourites and the better time trialists.
Andrew Talansky's firmly shut the lid on the hurt locker for Andrei Grifko. He's not getting out of that easily. This is what we like to see. Favourites looking at each other. Nero Quintana on the right hand side of your screen. He's the most explosive rider here. He might well go for the stage victory today. I would not put it past him. Neither would I put it past Talansky to try and take the victory and give them all a big mental bashing in the process. But this has caused a lot of problems.
Chavanel still hanging just on the rear there, so he's doing quite well to be there at this moment. As we can see, what have we got? 12 or 15 riders.
With an attack here from Denis Menchov. Denis Menchov has sprung out from behind people and decided in the last 2 kilometres to see if he can go for this. Denis Menchov at 1 minute and 18 seconds and should never be underestimated. You can't underestimate a man who's won the Giro and the Vuelta. Hanging on at the back at the moment is Bart de Klerk. Well, it's an uncharacteristically attacking ride by Menchov here in the last 2K, Sean.
Well, yes, it's not something he is familiar to do, going in the attack, but as we can see, Talansky once again, he is so impressive here. With the yellow jersey, you would be allowing the other riders maybe to go in the attack, but he's the one of the big favourites, and being race leader, very, very impressive.
It's a new era in cycling. Andrew Talansky is one of the new breed of riders. There's nothing different about the aggression that's been shown by Talansky as opposed to every other yellow jersey wearer who has an attacking spirit. As Richie Porte now goes for it. Has he just used up too many attacks now, Talansky? Is that a clever move by Porte? Well, Talansky's looking behind him to see who else is going to do the chasing. Richie Porte is off up the road. He's got about 10 bike lengths. Talansky, I don't think he's got it in the tank to go after them. One attack too many, Sean.
Well, that is, I think, a little bit of experience there, because if you're not feeling real good, well then I don't think you should go on the attack. But again, it's a question of calculation. If he thinks he needs to take a bit of more time, well then you have to try something. But
this is great.
He's tried too much here. And Richie Porte, he's definitely going to ride away from the rest now, and I don't see anybody capable of coming across to him, because you need to react immediately when Porte puts in a big attack.
And nobody wants to. Look, Spilak says, well, you come and do it. The yellow jersey, they're forcing the yellow jersey to come and do some work on the front, and Talansky's desperately looking around over one shoulder and another to see if somebody will help him. But he's going to have to ride his own pace. But there comes a point, Sean, when the other riders in this group will think, well, it's too dangerous to let Paul go ahead.
Well, yes, they probably know it's too dangerous, but if you haven't got the legs, there's nothing you can do about it.
That's true.
They're just hanging here the last number of kilometres, and the attacks which Talansky had put in just further down the climb here, I think that was put a lot of the guys in the red. And if that is the case, well then you just try and just follow and stay in contact with this group of favourites. And we can see here at the moment, there's nobody really taking up the chase as they come to the kilometre to go. It looks like Porte is going to go all the way to the finish. Velez
has been shed from this group now, and up ahead it's TJ Van Garderen, who's been forced to come to the front. He feels to do some work here. Richie Porte, that's a massive attack. He's churning that gear around now, and Talansky once again having the first real pressure, and TJ Van Garderen too looks as though he's worried about this attack. I'm not surprised he's worried, as there goes Quintana, the other explosive rider in the group. Is he going to go after Richie Porte? Can he catch him? Maybe it's too big a gap now, as Spilak, who looked comfortable on that little dig that he put in, gets under the wheel of Quintana. These guys are just fighting for the scraps now, I'm afraid, because Richie Porte is off up the road and I don't think anybody's going to catch him. The Tasmanian, who came to prominence at CSC, wore the leader's jersey, the Maglia Rosa, in the Giro d'Italia on his debut. And once again, the Montagne de Lure is the mountain that does for Sylvain Chavanel. Diego Ulissi comes to the front. 500 metres to go. It's no good flicking the arm and saying, come on, let's work together. They're all just looking at each other. Scarponi on the left-hand side is going to try and wind up. He's got a lot of experience, knowing you can't keep looking at each other. If you keep looking at each other, you lose more and more seconds. Richie Porte is on course for getting, 15 seconds over his rivals? Maybe a little more. 15 seconds, I guesstimate. And then another 10 seconds in the bag for winning the stage. Richie Porte of Sky, who had to play the supporting role to Bradley Wiggins in the Paris-Nice race last year, is coming home to take this victory up the Mountain de Lure, get an extra 10 seconds in the bag, take over the race leadership, and looking very comfortable indeed. Richie Porte takes the win. Now the clock begins to tick. What are they doing? Stop looking at each other. It's going to go out the back door if you're not very careful, because that man, Richie Porte, is a very, very good time trialist. 17, 18, 19 seconds coming up for Dennis Menchov. So well over 20 seconds of an advantage, Sean. 26, 27. And Tolansky finally goes for the final sprint to the line and a few bonus seconds. They blew it, Sean. They blew it.
Yes, I don't know what exactly you need to call it, but I don't think anybody had got the legs there in the end. They were all just on the rivet, as they say in cycling terms. And Richie Porte, he has done a real good performance there today and put himself into leadership big time.
Really spectacular ride by Richie Porte. Attacked with under 5 kilometres to go on. That went off after Menchov, and a terrific ride. TJ Van Garderen comes in 4th spot, misses out on the bonus seconds, and look at that's grief on the face of Andrew Tolansky. Gasparotto finishing